What's up, y'all? It's Ashley.
I'm Fee.
It's Melody.
And Cody here. And you've tapped into
The Mama Stand.
We're all mamas, and we've got 11 kids between the four of us. And let's just say we are tired. But we're also friends who are going through this journey of motherhood together.
Each week, we are giving you some laughs, maybe some tears, sharing our personal stories, and of course, giving advice, what we hope is helpful.
This is the show we wish we had before becoming mamas.
So grandmas, aunties, sisters, uncles, daddies, brothers, everybody who's in the village of raising children, we got you.
Shall we get into it, ladies?
Let's do it.
Today we are talking about social media and cell phones and our children.
Word.
And it's very interesting because Felicia and Ashley have kids on the older side,
Yeah.
right? Of the oldest out of all of our kids. And then Ashley and I have two of the youngest. And then so I think it's like important to have these conversations. Also, like some of us have, Cody, you have all boys. Ashley, you have all girls. Fee and I both have, damn. You know, like, do we feel, how do you guys feel about that? Like, do you feel like there's a different level of like protection, do you feel, for your children based off of if they're boys or girls?
From the social media cell phone space?
Yeah.
Right now, no. I feel highly protective.
Yeah.
And I feel like that may be more typical of girl mom or girl parent.
Mhm.
But like for me, it's just I don't know what's out there. Like I
Yeah.
maybe it's part of the unknown aspect of it where I'm just like, it's all bad.
Yeah.
And I need to just figure out how to manage and control this as much as possible, which I know it's not that straightforward.
But Felicia, you have a boy and a girl, so I feel like you do as well, Melanie, but
No,
Kaya's
Kaya's
so
out the
young,
picture.
but you're like the only one actually who's in that space with a boy and a girl as far as both probably being around the same age entering that realm.
Yeah.
Do you feel different protection level over both of them, or?
Yeah, I feel like it's the same protection level. I feel the same as like, it's just all bad what's out there. It's like, you
Run
know?
for your life.
Yeah. Close your eyes.
Do Peace and Amira have
But
phones?
even as simple as
Oh,
like
yeah.
this morning, Zen was doing something. I asked him to stop doing something. And of course, Zen was like, no.
Right.
And so Peace was like, he's learning that from his little show. She was like, you learned that from your little show.
Little show.
Not a
That's
little
my
show.
girl.
Right. I'm like, what little show? But it was just even him watching a specific cartoon that was like, you know, it doesn't always have to be something that's so graphic and so intense. But I'm definitely protective over like, no.
Does Peace have a phone, or do the girls
No.
her age at school have phones yet?
Some of the kids do have phones.
Okay.
She has her iPad, but it's a very like, I hand it to her. She can't be on it all day, every day. It's
Okay.
like she can
But you
typically go
can
on
make
Saturday.
calls from it and text.
Yeah, but even on that, like I'm very specific on like who's in, you know,
contacts,
her
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's good.
But then also Apple has this thing because she also has an Apple Watch.
Oh, okay.
And that's more for when she's at school to get in contact with us and stuff, and so that we can track where she's at.
Yeah.
But so Apple has the what is it called? It's like parent mode.
Yeah.
Where you can switch that on and off, and it'll tell me, you know, what she's doing and where she's at, and
Oh, like all the stuff that she's logged into.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So that also makes me feel good about it. But when it's on that parent mode, I feel like makes me feel a little bit better. But still, people be tripping on the internet in general. But
So
yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
So does Amira have a phone?
Yeah.
And then also
When did she get a phone?
She's
right.
7.
And when will Peace get
7.
one?
Because we moved here so she got a phone. It sounds crazy because I'm looking at Azara like, well, I would never give Azara a phone. She's 7. But when we moved here, she was our only child. And we moved here when she was 5, turning 6. We moved in October. She was 5, and then she turned 6 in March. And my mom used to come for like 3 to 4 months, right? And then when I got pregnant, because you have to remember, we moved here and we moved here maybe, was it like April or May? I don't know. It was snowing in Ohio, but it wasn't here. It was very weird. Either way, we moved here at some point in the year 2015. We got married in October, and then that following March, she turned 6. But I was pregnant by then, I believe, or something like that. I don't really know the timeline,
You were
but it was all
definitely
very
pregnant.
quick. Either way, she started going to Ohio every summer. It was like a new thing. And she would stay for like 1 to 2 months. And I would call my mom, and she was trying to act like she was very elderly, and she was not at the time, because this was,
8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
And she would be one of those people who would leave her phone in her purse. And so I had a lot of anxiety because I'd never been away from Amira longer than a day. So I'm like calling my mom, just trying to check on her like every day. And she just calling. Now I would have to call the neighbor, like, is my mom okay? Is she next door? Like, what? And I'm like, where's my child? And she's like, I left my purse in the bottom, my phone in the purse, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, hell no. So I got her a cell phone because I was like, when I call my child, I want to know that
Right.
somebody pick up. So that's why she got a phone. At first, it was just she kept it with her whenever me and her dad would call her. She was fine, da, da, da. And then, of course, it turned into, can I download Roblox? Can I put games on my phone? Then that's her and Kyla would FaceTime each other on her cell
Right,
phone, her
right.
iPad, and then just progressively moved then TikTok came along.
Yeah.
Then that's when TikTok was just the dancing.
I remember.
Yes,
I
and
remember when
Amir was
TikTok-
making all the TikTok videos,
Yes.
and it was cute and it was innocent. And then she got mad at me because when she turned like 10, I deleted TikTok off of her phone. I was like, oh, hell no, because she started telling me she wanted to be white, she wanted to have blonde
I remember
hair.
this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I was like, not today, Satan. So I deleted it off her phone, and I was like, you don't need TikTok, you don't need Instagram. She always had an Instagram. We were those parents who like, I was dying laughing. Somebody made a meme. Like parents did they're like, why are you making Twitter accounts and Instagrams for your kid? And you're talking like you're a kid, but it's you really talking.
really
and
you.
you're talking.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, we were those people.
Find me that meme. I have to send it to a few of my friends.
Yes, it is very ridiculous when you hear somebody say it out loud. But at first it was cute. Like, let's follow her life. Like I'm talking for her. And she
Right.
wasn't talking. It was us. It was really stupid.
My mom and dad are the best. And you're like, okay.
Yes,
You're like, who wrote
this
this?
2-year-old baby?
Right.
Yeah, we definitely did that. It was very ridiculous. So she always had an Instagram from that. And then she was like, oh, I want to act and stuff. So then, of course, we were like uploading little pictures of her. She's cute and da 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 da. Using it as like a little resume, and we'd get little brand deals and stuff from that. But it just progressed into something more as she got older. And then I had to start doing like, she has time limits on all her apps. She gets so mad at us. Her phone cuts off at 9. She can't text. She can't do nothing after 9 p.m. Like she can't even basically use her phone. And she's pissed about that. But it's just that I let her have Instagram, and then I was like, you could only use it from our phone. Then none of her friends would follow her because they knew
It
that
was
she was
attached to
only
your
using it from
account.
our phone. They were like, no. So then I was like, fine. I took it off my phone.
What her
I
friends
let-
got secrets for?
Girl,
Because
that's
they're
what-
teenagers.
Oh.
Yeah, everybody has a Finsta.
And a Finsta,
And
yeah.
she accidentally posted one of her friends' Finstas.
I was just going to say, pause for
And
the
got in
parents who are
trouble.
listening. Finsta is your fake Instagram account that your family and all your people don't know about except for your little trifling friends who are
Yeah.
doing all the trifling things with you. So the Finsta
Yep.
accounts, all the parents. will
Every
be on the
teenager
lookout.
has one.
Does
Look-
Amira have one?
The
She
hood
told-
rat things.
She
with your
told me no,
friends.
but I think she does.
Okay,
I think she does.
it's only a small sidebar because Ashley knows I've started watching Ginny in Georgia.
Girl.
I have a friend.
And
It's
it's
on
good show.
Netflix,
What?
and I have a friend who writes on it,
It's
and I
on
love her,
Netflix.
and I'm like, I have to like watch the show
It's
and
good.
see everything. So Georgia is like 40, and no, not 40. She's like 36, and her daughter is 16. And her daughter is Ginny. Anyway, so as I'm watching, I'm like, Ashley, is this what teenagers are doing? And she's like, girl, I had to stop watching this. It's giving me anxiety. Like,
Mhm.
like I would never watch
Like
Euphoria,
Euphoria.
because it's, but
Whoa.
there's drugs and stuff. And
Yeah.
like, there's no drugs here yet.
Yeah.
But there is like
Sex.
sex and just the way that they communicate. And
Girl, they be
So-
so.
so anyway, I have to brace myself for all of this.
Yeah.
Sidebar, so I was around somebody the other day, I can't remember who it was, and the kid was just casually saying, oh, I can go to the parties, Dad, it's fine. I have the fentanyl testing kit.
Oh.
Like, apparently there is a kit that you can give your kids to go, so if they're going to participate in any
Oh Jesus.
extracurricular activities,
us.
that they're making sure that their activities are not laced with things that could kill them.
Oh my gosh.
Which is terrifying. And apparently it's very like talked about.
That's
Like,
insane.
this is
I
a
mean,
way to be,
good
it's like the new
have, but
condom.
sad.
It's 2024.
It's
okay.
like the new condom.
Let's
It's like,
Don't
pay-
touch it,
Let's
peace
pace
and zen.
ourselves.
roll the tape.
Go
Let's
home.
pace ourselves. Right now,
Okay.
we're not
Oh,
at
Jesus.
fentanyl yet.
No,
we're
no,
at
no.
cell phones.
I just,
And
Yeah.
I just fell off the cliff, y'all.
The cell phone is a
I'm
gateway
stressed.
drug.
It is.
It's feeling that way.
It
No,
is.
because you know what? I'm gonna say this. It's wild to hear your story, Ashley, because
Look, Felicia, like,
you-
stressed out over here.
because you had your daughter have access and then you took it away.
Yeah.
Which feels different, right? It's like harder to kind of process, I think, as a teenager, because
Yeah.
you're like, wait, this is when I'm supposed to be getting more liberties and more access.
Yeah.
But now I'm being more
Mm.
restricted because you are aware of the quote unquote dangers that social media and having a cell phone come with.
Yeah, it's depressing.
And this world that we live in, which is terrifying, unfortunately, is that there's all these platforms, like even Roblox, like these
Girl.
online places where people could play. Like Cam
Chitty
wants.
chatting on the Roblox.
Listen,
That is crazy. My sister plays it with Peace and Zen,
Yep.
and they're all just like sitting on the couch.
yeah,
And there's times where, and I didn't really understand. I didn't understand where Roblox is. Right?
Should've called
Is
me.
it Roblox?
Roblox.
Roblox. So my sister was telling me how it works and how people would just be like talking
Yep.
and a whole thing. So Zen, actually, day before yesterday, he kept saying like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die." And I was like, "What are you
Is he
talking
playing
about?"
Among Us?
He was playing Roblox, and so I told my sister, I was like, "What is he playing?" She was like, "Well, it's not that like." Something was happening where there were like dead bodies,
Yes.
and I was like, "Yeah, no, we're not playing that.
Right.
Out, done."
Yeah.
Then I
And
don't-
that's just the
don't like
games in
none of that.
itself. That could be anything. That could be something on PS4. That could be anything, like video games as far as what it is.
I have
Cody's
a
stressed.
question. Yeah, I know deeply, but
So needless to say, Cody, Brooks does not have a phone.
none of that.
Okay.
No. And but Ashley, in giving it to her for the purposes that you gave it to her, right? So you can talk to her when she's in Ohio, or maybe so she can play games and FaceTime her friend. What conversations are you having with her about the good and bad things about phone, like, if at all?
Oh, girl, you know I talk to my child. I tell her, so first when she knew why she had the phone, right?
Right.
Like, and then obviously when she started going and doing more social things with other kids, because she's homeschooled, right? So she starts to see what other kids are doing. So Roblox actually came about because it was a good way. It was like kids were like, "You have Roblox? I have Roblox." And then like the parent would be like, "Oh, can my kid have your kid's Roblox name?" And it's like, cool, at least it's a child
Right.
versus them
Yeah.
just playing with strangers.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was like a connection way, like play Roblox with these little kids from your karate class or people that you know. But I would always tell her, I said, "Amira, what was that? Oh, what is that other app? There's another app. I gotta remember before we stop talking about this because it's another one that parents really need to look out
Really? No,
for.
I don't know.
For the case in point of Roblox, it's kind of like a chat room, right?
Mhm.
So I had to tell her, like, Amira, you know how you're just on here and you made up a name. I'm like, and you want me and your dad to play, because she was like, "Can you play?" She used to ask us to play Roblox, so I would tell Chia, play with her. Like, this is how you know what she's doing. She's asking you to play with her. And so I would be like, "You see how your dad is on there and he has a character and it looks like a child?" I was like, "This is a grown man playing with you." So that was a good way for her to quickly see someone could be pretending to be your
Right.
age. So I had to keep telling her, like, the people in here, you don't know if they're children. This is how, and I've always been honest with her. This is how people like manipulate children. This is how you can get kidnapped. I'm like, someone could be just talking to you, you get comfortable with them, and you think it's a kid the whole time. It could be a grown up. So I had to take the chat off of there. You had to put the parental thing
Yep.
on there. But even that, predators and people can go around that. They
Yeah,
can just
for
pretend
sure.
to be a child. Like, it's just clicking in birthdays and stuff. It's like there's only so much parental control that
Yeah.
you can do. And that is the thing. Like, that's what's happening, is like you're talking to these people, building relationships
building relationships.
with
That
someone
AOL
you've
Instant
never
Messenger,
seen.
too.
Yeah.
Yes, same thing.
I mean,
same
hello,
thing.
26 seasons of Catfish. Okay.
I mean,
Right, why
Yeah.
are people
It's
still
still
getting
on.
catfish? But it's still happening. So you have
Yeah.
to really like talk to your children about internet intelligence when you're, and I told her when I took it away, I was like, "No, you keep asking me to dye your hair blonde. You didn't ask that before
Yeah,
you were on
no.
TikTok."
right.
Yeah.
Because all the people who are getting pushed to the popular page are white girls with blonde hair. Now you
Yeah.
think that you need to look like that so you can be on the popular page.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that for a real quick second, because I think that to me is the crazy thing. When we were growing up, the only person people you had to think about impressing was them kids in your school
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and in around your neighborhood.
Yep.
These kids now on social media are getting dressed,
Girl.
creating content,
Yeah.
commentary to the world.
lot.
Whole
To have
world.
friends in Paris and New York, and the next thing you know, they're like, "Mom, I want to go visit my Instagram friend." If it's a what? You know what I mean? Like, but this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's actually a part of the culture, which is terrifying to me.
It's
Yeah.
very
Like that's terrifying. And again, it's because the world we live in is terrifying. Not to say that like this is actually just what's happening. Like
Yeah.
Right.
FaceTime.
Right.
Cameron asks for a phone this boy came home talking about, for Christmas, I want the iPhone 15 Pro. We were like,
I bet you do.
I bet you do. I was still walking around, this is raggedy iPhone 12. Are you kidding me? You're never getting an iPhone 15. But what we did do was we took one of Jared's old phones, cleared it off, like completely reset it. It has no data on it. It can be on Wi-Fi while we're in the
Yeah.
house. And he can use that to like only text the contacts that are in his phone, which are his
Yep.
aunties, his uncles, his cousins, his close friend, his
Throw
best friend in New
Azar's
York.
number in there.
Oh yeah, that'd be cute.
No,
No,
well,
that'd be cute.
actually keep it off. She'll be like, you like my
Ridiculous.
outfit today, Cameron? Hell no.
But you know, like, and then Cam likes to make movies, so that's why we wanted
Oh.
him to, so he could start to
That's how Peace is.
explore his creative side,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
But again, he has Roblox on there, but literally it's like we talked to him about who you can have access to. He's also asked for an Instagram page. And, you know, we talked about it. Because he wants to post what he's posting on YouTube and his and Instagram page. And I told him, I was like, listen, I was like, Instagram, you would never have a public page. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, we're running the page.
Yeah.
There's no other question. So you don't need a platform right now for that.
Mhm.
But I will say this again, because it's the world we live in. It's got to be hard for these kids to say, well, this is not for me when their entire world are surrounded by their parents looking like this every single
Yes,
day.
Yeah.
that part.
Right? We are constantly on our phones, whether we're working, whether we're scrolling Instagram or social media. Like, this has become a part of our, like, just
Existence.
existence.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so these kids, we're expecting them to have boundaries and discernment and all these things, but they don't live in a world where that's really a thing.
Yeah.
Everyone is also
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and also too, we talked about this the other day. I saw something crazy on TikTok where these moms put their daughters on TikTok, like in just toddler videos, just like doing regular toddler stuff, like going down the slide or,
Mhm.
you know, running through a sprinkler or whatever, whatnot. And then when you look and see the amount of saves that this video has, it's more than the likes. It's like 330,000 saves. And it's like, why would this many people be saving videos of little girls if it were not for
Girl.
predatory behavior, pedophiles,
Yeah.
rapists? Like, you just are like, what?
Yeah.
Child pornography?
Yeah.
Like,
It's a real thing.
It's disgusting.
I definitely, like, I'm the type of parent that, for instance, with the Roblox thing, I tell Peace, she was chatting on the thing and I was like, what is this?
Mhm.
She's like, oh, people talk to you. I go straight to it. I'm like, do you know that this is how little kids get kidnapped?
Yep.
And I would tell her a real story. Like, there was this story with this, I think the girl was like 10 or 12. She was online talking about, I hate my parents, blah, blah, blah. A predator went in there, you know, saw that was an invite and then ended up like killing the little girl, something
Oh
crazy.
my
But oh no,
God.
I tell Peace the scariest story.
You should though.
Yeah, I'm like, and then she was like, oh my God, how weird. So now when she sees it, she's like,
Yeah.
ah! She's
Oh,
like,
Lord.
no, but
Some people feel like that gives your kids anxiety or
Man, I don't
like
care. I mean,
unnecessary.
I
things.
do not
I
care.
If your
You gonna be
anxiety says
fine.
your life, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think you know the kid, and I think that also all of us are trying to create environments where our children feel comfortable talking to us. So I think, to your point, like you're absolutely right, that could be the case or it could not. But I also think we have relationships with our kids and Peace and Felicia where like they're going to keep. It's a beginning of a conversation.
Yeah.
It's not like the end all be
Yeah.
all.
True.
Yeah.
So we're not having those conversations. Brooke, I don't even know what Roblox is. Okay, I'm sure Brooks knows, but he has none of it. But
bless.
but he does, like, you know, he loves to look at Instagram when we're looking at it.
Right.
Mhm.
And lately, and I don't know where it started. I have to talk to our nanny about it too, because I think sometimes she's on Instagram. And I don't know what's happening at school in this regard, but he'll look at the phone and kind of be like, how many likes does that have?
Yep.
Right.
Mm.
So I've started talking to him about like Black Love as the business.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, we run a business. And so we have an Instagram page for our business and da-da-da. So I talked to him very much Black Love. And I'm like, and, you know, and he's like, well, how much does your personal page, you know, how much does your page have? Right. And I'm like, well, you know, on my page, I'm sharing my family. I just try to talk to him
Yeah.
about the purpose.
100%.
Yes.
And then I've also said, but you have to understand, like, there's a lot of bad stuff that can happen on the internet too.
Yep.
There's a lot of, like, you can't see the people. So I've tried to, like, he has no access himself, like physical use,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to plant the seeds. So it's
Yeah.
like, just know that there's good and bad here,
Yeah.
and we'll keep talking about
Yeah.
it.
Actually, I have
With-
an interesting question. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
You want to go? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say because we create content for a living, especially when it
Mhm.
comes to like Peace loves skincare and Peace loves, you know,
Yeah.
doing her hair and doing these things. Her father, for the longest time, was like, I don't want her to create these things. But the thing was, Peace didn't want to create the videos because she wanted likes. She wanted to create the videos because she was like, it's just cool to make these videos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do it.
So giving her exactly. So having her understand like this is what we do for work, but
Yeah.
she knows that I don't like live my whole life
Yeah.
on the internet. It's
Yeah.
like they know that this is how we financially can do things or
Mhm.
put food on the table. But us getting her the iPad was also like she wanted to create vlogs and all,
Yeah.
and they're actually really cute. And it's like she's like, Mom, I don't need to post them. I just want to do it because it's cool. It's a part of
Yeah,
the way
her
that
creative outlet.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
then you see kids like that one kid who used to open toys, and he's a millionaire. I don't know what he's doing in his life now, but it doesn't matter.
Ryan.
Ryan,
Yeah.
just on YouTube, and that's the thing too, because like your kids are growing up, going to school with other children who are
Yeah.
actually Instagram phenomenals and
Yeah.
da da da,
Yeah.
and so they want to do that. Like even with Amira, she's always like feels triggered when she's around certain people because she's like they're doing stuff that she wants to do, and then it
Mhm.
reminds her like I need to be doing that. Like she's really in this space where she really, really wants to be acting, and I told Chia like I'm gonna have to give something else up so that I can focus on her and her. Number one, I should be focusing on my writing because I could just write roles for her, you know what I mean, and incorporate her into that. But also, she's her own person, and this is like her dream, and it's always
Yeah.
been a dream. She's never deviated from that one day. So I'm like, this at 14, I need to be going hard to make sure that she can have that career. Because when you look at like people that I feel like stars that seem really balanced, but we don't know who they really are. But like Yara Shahidi and Zendaya and those type of girls where I'm like, okay, Yara Shahidi is going to college and she's a successful actress,
Harvard,
producer.
sis.
Is
And her mom is great.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
she
but
is.
Marseille, is that how you pronounce it?
Marseille.
Marseille,
Martin.
and then like just girls like that where I'm like, okay, these are young girls that aren't in the media for bad things, but guess what? You see, they're in Storm Reed. She's in
Mhm.
college, and their moms are right there.
Oh, yeah.
Their moms
They're
are right
momagers.
there. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to, that's the career that I want for Amir. I want her to be successful, go to college, be an actress, but also like, I need to be that presence and be a part of that. And that is
Yeah.
a job. That's
It's
a
true.
full-time job.
Mhm.
But okay, so
Yeah.
the app is called Discord. And I feel like adults use Discord.
Oh, I
did
heard
ya?
about it.
Adults
Yes.
used
Isn't
to
that like
use
a
Discord.
work app? Ain't
Girl,
that
no.
task management?
It's not just for work at all.
Task
Oh,
management.
Discord. I used to
Just
use that with
Discord.
Bree.
Yes.
Yes.
Why
see,
does that sound so? Wait, what is it?
it's an app where you can like chat with people.
But what's
and
its
like,
purpose?
yes,
we
this-
we use it for work.
Yeah, a lot of but kids have been. Amir was using that like 5 years ago.
But for what? What are they saying?
Chat-
what are they
chat
doing?
It's like
rooms.
WhatsApp for
They just
kids.
talk-
Yes.
oh, it's like WhatsApp.
Yes, chat rooms exactly, and people were creating chat
Mm.
rooms, and kids were dumping their whole like at 7, 8 years old. Like you said, I hate my mom, and
What
like
in
all
the
this stuff.
world?
Yes, but that's the
Oh,
thing. Everybody
man,
doesn't
that's
have
crazy.
parents like us, and everybody doesn't have
Yeah.
a safe space, so they'll just go online.
Yeah.
But I had a question for you, Cody. When
Mm.
you were talking about Brooks, I just thought of something very interesting. And this is just my like perception, so you can correct me. It's like Brooks is so smart and he is so advanced, and you have him at a school for advanced children. But then there's like other aspects where it's like you're not babying him, but you're very protective. How are you keeping that balance? Because to me, he's going to end up being around older kids more than he is, because he's his brain. Like he's going to be in class eventually, like with children that are older than him. He's always in spaces where like he's not on the same grade level as children his own age. So that means that he could potentially be exposed
Mhm.
to things that are beyond his maturity level.
Yeah.
Like how are you keeping that? Do you know what I mean? Or how do you do that?
I mean, the short answer to me, I always go back to just like continuing to build our relationship.
Mhm.
Because he can be in any space. If we can't talk about it, then like, what do we have? You know
This
what I
is
mean?
True. Yeah.
I will say, not that we did it intentionally, but thinking about what you're saying is like the school that he's in sort of nurtures him where he is, and because he's in a gifted school, they are all the same age. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like he skipped a grade or
Got
anything like
it,
that. So I'm
okay.
trying to figure out.
So they keep him in. What is his technical grade by age?
He's in second grade.
But he does like what, fifth, sixth
I don't
grade
know,
work?
girl, because they're all like that.
So
They're all,
okay, so they have like aid by age, and then they kind of like
yeah, they
foster,
nurture.
give them work.
Yeah, it
Montessori
might
school?
be. No,
Okay,
it's
school
it's
she
it's
paid
a
for.
school for gifted kids, and it's so but they all have to like test into this
Okay,
school.
okay.
So he
they're all
might be in
gifted.
math class with a mix of ages, but it's not like
Mm.
they're 8,
I see
they're
what
they're
you're saying. I see what
12
you're saying.
because the 12-year-olds should be with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
So it's kind of hard to
That's good to know,
but
though.
but yeah, so he's definitely really thoughtful. He is, I would I advanced, I guess, for his age. But he's inquisitive, and he definitely does talk to us.
Mhm.
And I also am just really proactive in how I talk to him. If he shows an interest in something that, like Instagram, I'm like trying to explain it
Yeah,
early,
on
trying to
it.
drop those nuggets of like,
Yeah.
you
A
know,
book
we're gonna
about?
keep right. We're gonna get the book. You know what I'm saying? I actually, when I was talking about even Black Love as a business, Brooks has a friend who is his age with probably 3 million followers because he is a talented designer.
Oh yeah.
And but that's a business, you know what I mean? And his
Yeah.
mom runs that, and so the content that's created, the likes, whatever it is all driving back toward the business. So
Yeah.
me talking about Black love that Brooks clearly understands allows us to also talk about his friend as well.
Oh, smart.
And like, this is what this platform is for.
Yep.
yeah.
You know what I mean? For sharing your
Do
work.
we
Yeah.
feel overwhelmed by the idea that 3 million people could be following your child?
100%.
But the mom runs it.
She runs it.
No, yeah, she runs it, but
Yeah.
like,
but
even
still,
if-
they're
No.
they're like the face of it.
and because I remember when I first had Cameron,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, I would be out in public and people would be like, "Oh my gosh, Melanie, it's so nice to meet you. I saw your son first, and that's how I knew it was
Yeah,
you." And I was
yeah.
like,
Girl.
Yeah.
"What?"
Story
Scary.
of my
And
life.
it's know,
Blair has that story of being with Peace, and somebody was like, "This the baby from the
Yeah.
internet."
That would happen. Honestly, there was a long period that I was like, I don't know if I want to post them. But
Yeah.
then I got over it by really understanding that they're lights and they attract,
Yeah.
and also pieces into entertainment. So
Mhm.
I felt like, okay, we can't dim her light and
Right.
like just naturally she's this person. But we would be, a lot of times it actually would happen a lot in New York. We would just be walking down the street and people would be like, "Oh my God, it's Peace." Like
Yeah.
I
think-
was terrified.
I
Yeah.
try to think about the pros and cons, for better or for worse. If somebody were to say, "Hey, Peace, I know your mama," or whatever, obviously you guys are having conversations, so it's like, is she gonna fall for that? Is that gonna
Yeah.
get her? But the other thing is, a bunch of people know your child. They're gonna be like, "Peace, that's not your mom." You know what I'm saying? Like, there will
Yeah.
be people who will look out for your child because they
100%.
know who your child
Yes.
is.
Yeah,
but
she
also
knew.
that's
Yeah.
the
And
conversation
And that's what I think about.
I have with Cameron. And like, we are parents who drop him off and pick him up every day, and we walk him into the school
Mhm.
and go to the gate and pick him up when it's time to
Mhm.
pick him up.
Mhm.
And I've literally said this to Cameron almost every day of his life. Cameron, this is who's picking you up today. If it's not me, it's going to be this person. Anyone else that should come to you, any of your friends' parents that are like, "Oh, your mom told me to give you a ride home. Oh, I came to me. Oh, hey, Cam, like I'm coming to pick you up. Your mom couldn't come pick you up today." And somebody, I don't care who it is, I said, I don't care if it's somebody that you know that we trust. You do not go with
Yep.
anyone that is not me
Mhm.
or who I said is coming to pick you
Yeah.
up. And if you are unsure, you know my telephone number off by heart. You can call me, go in the office, and you call.
100%.
Because again, because we do have children that are known,
Mhm.
people can finesse your kids or
Yeah.
try to.
Yeah, no, for
You know?
sure. I mean, that
Mhm.
happens to me. That's been happening since Amira was little. People will walk up to my mom like, "Watermelon egg rolls, you're watermelon egg rolls mom. That's Amira." I mean, my Amira would be on a plane with my mom in the grocery store. I would be all the way in California. They would be in Ohio.
Mm-mm.
And people will walk up to her. My mom, my mom ain't about that. Like, she would chop somebody right in their trachea.
Yeah.
She would be like, "I don't know you, but back up." Like, she doesn't even try to be nice. She'd
Yeah.
be like, "I don't know you. You don't know my granddaughter. Get out of my
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Sorry." And they're like, "Oh my God, I follow your daughter." She's like, "I don't care. I had my daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Like, she definitely was on that, but we always told Amira, there's going to be a lot of people that know you don't know them.
Yeah.
That
Just
part.
because someone knows your name means absolutely nothing. You know how you know Beyonce? Beyonce don't know you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I had
That'll do
to-
it. That'll do it.
Yeah. I had to, my mom, I feel like for a long time, my mom she wasn't understanding like the social media world
Yeah.
and being like a personality.
Mhm.
Like, I remember one time we were like all in Vegas. This was in Pieces, probably like 2 or 3 years old. And my mom kept posting our location and where we were at. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm your daughter. Yes. I was like, but you have to understand there are hundreds and thousands of people that are watching us.
Yeah.
You can't like, girl,
Yeah.
like having to
Mamas.
understand. But okay, so I didn't tell you guys this story. Something happened at the kids' school a couple weeks ago. A little girl said something very inappropriate to Peace, and Peace went and told her teachers about what the little girl said, and it was something about like in terms of oral sex. And the little girl the next day came to school and was like, "I know that it's true because I looked it up on the internet."
Oh, you did tell us this.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah, girl.
And so, it was like this whole entire thing,
Mhm.
and me telling, the teachers, like, this needs to be
Right.
addressed. And
Mhm.
also, like, what is happening within your guys' household? So, even the social media and having the phones, and there being older kids around
Yeah.
that are
Yeah, that
already
part.
tapped into it. And then now it's spilling on to the little ones,
Yeah.
because they're talking about who knows what in high school.
Yeah.
So
girl,
it's also
everything.
that cross. I'm like, not cross contamination,
It
but what
is.
is it
Yeah,
called?
no, it
Yes.
is.
Cross-contamination.
It's like,
Yeah.
Lord, like,
No, it's a real thing. I mean, I'm constantly talking to Amira about being a living example. And I'm like, There's certain things that your father and I don't talk about in front of you for a reason. Don't talk about certain things in front of your sisters, like you're older than them, and you just have to be mindful. And I try to just encourage all of my daughters to understand that I'm like, this is special. Like, I'm like, Azar and Asia, you both get to be big sisters and little sisters. Like, this is, you have someone watching you, and it's so important. Like, what you say, just like when Tata started saying, I hate you, is because Asia said it to Azara because Azara said it to Asia, but then she saw it on the show on TV and the cartoon. And that's the thing, like, that's the frustrating thing as a parent when you don't say certain words like stupid and dummy and I hate you, and then you hear your kids say it. It's not always like when you say they got it from another kid. Yeah, they probably got it from TV. Like, we always want to blame everything on everybody else's family. Like, that's not true. They say stupid and dummy on cartoons that are rated stupid. And like, they don't always hear the context and even if it's corrected on a cartoon, they already heard that word. Right. So now it's a part of their vocabulary.
And
now
it sounded funny when it was said on TV.
Exactly. And you're and then you have, like, we had to put, the way I got Tata to stop saying I hate you is I had to put her in timeout every time she said it. And she said, I hate my popcorn. I hate my smoothie. She don't even know.
I don't, but I'm the same way. I'm like, that hate word, my kids know. I'm like, you're not allowed.
That's a bad word. What hate is right now.
That's a bad word.
Using that word.
I don't play that. I don't play stupid. I don't play shut up. I don't do hate.
So wait, Felicia, so when will Peace get a phone?
Honestly, maybe like middle school or something, when I feel like she actually like needs it, but also she can communicate with us through her watch. So she's not like, she's not really like, she's not feeling pressed that like, oh, I need to be on TikTok or Instagram. She's like not really tripping off of it, you know? But I think it's because I give her that freedom of like, oh, you want to create a skincare video? Like, okay, that's whatever.
Good. So right now the watch serves as y'all can track her and she can call you anytime and you can communicate with her.
Yeah. But
that
even
seems like good enough for me.
But but even on her iPad, like I was looking at one of the group chats and she wasn't the one that was participating. It was like her little friends, but I was even able to see like, you can't be a part of this group chat no more. Deleted it, blocked that number, I'm like, Peace knows I'm not playing. Like, I don't care who you are.
I believe on spying on your children.
Child, I'm like, absolutely not.
Yes.
In this world, I mean,
that's called good parenting.
You have to,
I mean, there's just so much access. It's just like, no, I'm gonna need to know where you're at all times. I'm gonna need to know everything that you're talking about.
I would put a chip in them if I could.
Me too.
100%.
We talked about this.
Yeah, ditto.
Period.
100%.
But you know why? Because let me tell you something. You know why I don't trust children? Because of me. Because of me. Because I was a good kid. I tell the story all the time. My mom said, be home at 10. I'd be home at 9:45. I was never late. My mom told me to do the dishes. I would do them. Never talk back. I didn't do any of that type of stuff. You know what? When I found a little boyfriend and thought I was in love, I started lying to my mother. And she trusted me because I was always a really good kid. And I wasn't lying to her because I wanted to lie to my mom. I lied to her because I knew she wouldn't
say yes. And I felt a strong pull to do it because I thought I was in love and I opened my little flicks. And once you let a boy enter your vaginal walls and you are too young and you have now bonded and connected with someone else, you are doing things without clear consciousness because your frontal lobe is not developed. And now I think I'm going to marry this man, young boy, this child, and we're children doing grown-up things, having sex, and it's not good. And I would go to drill team and my mom would be like, oh, what time do you get out of drill team? And I'd be like, oh, we get out at 7. We got out at 5. Right.
And I went over his house and had sex and came back to school and was right where she told me to be and still was performing every Friday on drill team and never missed a drill team practice, but also was just like adding a little extra lie on there. And so because I know that, and I love my mom so much, and she gave me, I felt so bad too when I was doing it, but it felt so good. Do you know what I mean? I was a good student.
Yeah.
So it's like, because the most like with the most good intentions, you can be the most well-intended person. You know, they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Oh my God.
Like, no, but I think of that. That's why I tell people all the time, do not trust your children. They're like, oh, my child's a good kid. They are lying to you. Every child, Amira, I love her, but she lies to me about little things. And I check that phone and I tell her, I'm going to check your phone, girl. So if you lie to me, I'm going to find out.
Right.
And then I'm going to take it forever.
Oh, me. I play mind games with Cameron all the time. I tell Cameron that I can see everything that he sees because I made him. I do. Like
Oh
he's
my
like, Mom,
God.
how did you know? And I'll be like, because I know everything.
Yeah.
I see how you came for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know everything you're thinking. I see the
You can
things that
see
you're
it on
saying.
their face.
And-
You're like,
Yeah.
no, it's real. It's real. It's real.
And he really is like, what? Like,
Mhm. I tell my kids I'm a witch all
I'd
the
say
time.
I can see from the
Yeah.
back of my head.
Yeah.
Girl, what?
I'm like, I had you. I have witchy ways.
This
But I
way.
do, but they think I really am a witch. I mean, I am a witch, but you know that. But I told you that one time I got downloaded by God and I literally just got up like, Amir, did you talk to that little boy? She was like, her whole body, like, it's like she had an outer body experience. God was like, she texted him. And I got up and asked her and she was like, how did you know? And I was like, because God's going to tell me every time.
every
I
time.
think that's why she really mostly does not lie to me because
She already know.
yeah,
She
my
already
mom
know.
is a crazy witch.
I spoke to Ashley yesterday. I was at Cam's karate class, and it was such a profound moment that I saw, and I was very grateful to have witnessed it. So he just started doing karate, and it's like his third week. And when they were switching the overlap of classes, there was a younger group of kids and an older group of kids that Cam was a part of. One of the older kids ran into a younger child from the previous class by accident.
Mhm.
And the little kid started crying, and Sensei asked the group of kids that Cam was a part of, who ran into this child? Nobody was stepping up and saying anything. Who ran into this child? Nobody stepped up. He's just like, I'm asking. The most important thing you can do right now is be honest. Somebody needs to be accountable for who ran into him. It's going to be worse if you don't. He asked about 5 times. Nobody did. He made those kids run, do burpees, sit-ups. He was like, everybody is going to pay for this until somebody says the truth. And then I started to watch the dynamic of these kids and this lesson that they were being taught in real time. I was actually getting very emotional because I was like, wow, this is going to be a core memory for some of these kids. Hopefully mine, don't lie. Anyways, this one little girl was like, Sensei, I think I ran into him. And he was like, you didn't think you ran into him. If you ran into him, you would know you ran into him. Keep going, right? You just started to see how these kids all tried to like make it stop. How can I make it stop, right? And then finally, one kid stepped up and he said, Sensei, I did it. And Sensei said, why didn't you tell me? He said, because I was scared. And he said, what were you scared of? He said, I was scared you were going to scold me. And he says, do you see how you let your fear lie with not be accountable for who you are? And you made 17 of these other kids pay for your lack of a better choice. So he was like, all I would have told you to do was go say sorry. I know you didn't run into him on purpose. He was like, but because you didn't, and then he sat them down and had this beautiful, like, very calm, very kind fireside chat with them about it's hard to tell the truth sometimes. It's hard to reveal and take accountability. And how many times have you hid things from your parents and you didn't know? Here's my son. I used to wake up and turn on YouTube, and then when I hear them wake up, turn it off and run back to my room. I was like, I know you did that, you little, you know?
Definitely
I
giving
can't.
Brooks.
Right? But like he can't hold water. He can't
Yeah.
tell. He will tell on himself every time. But I thought that was so sweet. And I just got very emotional because I was like, these are the moments, these are the people, these are the things that you hope your children
Yeah.
take and make good decisions for themselves in all of these like situations, online, with their friend circles, at school, in their jobs, with other families when you're not there, you know, like it becomes with I think a level of constant communication and then earned trust. So
And you,
my
and you
thing
have
is,
to keep doing it because my mom used
Yes.
to pop up on me, and I'm telling you, that's what kept me on the straight and narrow.
'Cause you
But
don't
then
ever
when I
know.
was like 17, she's like, "Okay, I've done my job." She's 17, and that's when I lost my virginity. And then, like, oh, Amira, Jesus, I've never told her that, but I guess I'm gonna go home and tell her now before she hear it on the radio or the
On the
podcast
radio? You
You say a
stations.
lot of things on this podcast, and I'm curious if she
She doesn't
hears.
listen to the Mama's Den, but
Okay.
I just need to. I need
She'll
to start-
probably be like, Mom.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
start
but
to
some
tell
of her friends' moms
Oh,
do.
Lord, I know.
Right?
Yeah, no, Ashley lost her virginity when she was 17.
Right. Your mama lost her virginity.
Well, she knows that I was not married, and she knows that I had a boyfriend before her daddy, and she knows that I had sex with him because I told her. So she just doesn't know how old I was. But now I guess I got to tell her now that she's
Lord.
15. Lord Jesus. Anyway, but I'm saying my mom thought that I got her to be 17. So like, great. She stopped popping up on me because she also had other kids. See, this is what I be talking about. Think about raising these children and showing up for them, and not just having 4 babies, but 4 children that you got to pop up on and keep on showing up for, and you just can't get tired because somebody's gonna fall to the wayside. So you just have to like stay diligent, stay in their lives, and never trust them.
Love them and
Lord,
never,
Lord.
Never trust them. You got a question?
Okay, I have something to share before our listener question.
Oh yes.
Okay, so Langston be lying for sure.
Langston
And most of the
be
time,
lying.
and most of the
Langston
time,
be lying.
we are able to be like, you know, we catch him, he like feels bad, he says sorry or whatever. But the other day, so Aristotle's out of pull-ups, right? And meaning at night, he doesn't sleep in pull-ups anymore.
Wow,
Um,
that's great.
Langston, not yet, but Langston, they both know if they don't wet the pull-up for 5 days straight, then they can be out of pull-ups. So Langston brought me a fresh diaper from the box.
Ooh, it's
He comes in naked,
Smart.
and he's like, "Look, I
Yeah.
didn't wet the pull-up." And I know that he's lying, right? Because it's kind of
It's
crisp.
like-
Yeah,
It still smells
it's,
nice.
It's too flat.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Langston, are you sure this is your pull-up?" And he's like, "Yes, this is my pull-up." Like, he
Wow.
is like straight up. And I'm like, "Langston, it's very flat. This seems like a fresh pull-up." And he's like, "No, this is my pull-up." And I felt like if I called him on his lie, but I didn't have like evidence that he would understand. Because I'm saying to you, here's my evidence.
Yeah.
And you're looking at me and you're like, "This is my pull-up."
Yeah.
Are you accusing me? You know what I mean? He's like,
Right.
are you calling me a liar? Right. And so I felt like I couldn't call him out without clarity on the evidence.
Yeah.
Because then it would be like, I don't trust you, which I don't. And so, but it's funny that I never thought to be like, because mommy knows everything I never thought to do that because I was like, I don't want to call him out. So I'm just going to be like, "Okay, Langston, well, you need to come back, 4 more days of pull-ups then." So that's how I played it. That's how I played it. But I'm
Wow.
low-key regretting that right
Did
now.
you find?
should
Did you
regret
go find
that.
the
I
other one?
don't
It
think
was
he
in the trash. He for sure put it in the trash.
I would've been like,
think it's in
yeah,
the trash for what I
lies.
know is a wet
Yeah,
pull-up.
I'm like, nah, I gotta run it up and let you know that I know.
Just be like, I was born at night, not
Whose
last night.
pull-up is that in the trash then, cuz?
Right.
All right.
I didn't have energy. Listen, it was also like a Saturday, so
Yeah.
I went back to sleep. But
No,
But
anyway.
also
that's
the
fair.
craziest thing, the fact that he came up with that, I don't believe that I know everything would work on him. He'd
Right.
be like, how?
Right.
I feel like he'd be like, how? So I think you did the right thing, actually. I actually think that you
Thank you.
you peep game and you were like, oh, I see who I'm dealing with. Let me see how far it goes.
Yeah,
Because
pretty
then you
much.
get time to outsmart him.
Because I wasn't sure if he was going to come back every day with this.
Girl.
He's going to
He
try.
didn't.
Did he?
He
No.
didn't.
Oh,
no.
good. Okay.
So,
I mean, I
he
like to
would,
tell my
though.
children consistently that
He's
I won't
funny.
get mad at them for telling me the truth.
have
I
told
get
him
mad at
this.
them for lying
I
at
have
me.
So
told
that
him
was one of the
this.
things that the sensei brought up. He was
Yep.
like, he was like, you will not get in trouble if you try to keep things from your parents.
Mhm.
How many times have you gotten in more trouble because you tried to keep it from
Yep.
them?
Mhm.
That's
That's
exactly
what
it.
I tell my kids, even Amira. I'm like, I don't care what it is. I don't care if you had sex, if you did cocaine, if you did drugs, whatever. Tell me and we'll work through it. But if you lie to me about it and I find out about it, that means I can't trust you because everybody makes decisions that they're not proud of. My distrust in you is going to come from you lying to my face.
Mhm.
I don't care what it is. Tell me the truth. But if I find out
Yeah.
from somebody else other than you, we going to have a problem.
On site.
And we ain't cool no more.
Mm-hmm.
On site.
Blood.
Trust.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
now we get
It
into
was-
this listener
I
question.
loved this conversation, guys. This was a good
too.
one. I
Yeah.
think we all had really
Woo-woo.
really good insight.
Well,
And
that's why we the mamas den.
that's what we the mamas
That's
did.
why.
Okay,
That was a
we're gonna
long
move
question.
into this question of the week. Okay, here we go. Hi, mamas. 36-year-old mother of 2 girls, 3 and 5. My birth control implant is about to expire, and I'm contemplating having another. Verbatim. That's what it says. I struggled so much this past year with motherhood, even asking myself sometimes, why did I have kids? Mainly due to the overwhelming days of work and all the things. I've been married for 7 years, and after our second child, he was adamant about not wanting more children. Asked him recently, and now he's open to it.
That was more like a
Okay, thank you.
Sure?
This feels. Are you sure, or is it like? This feels like it should be such an easy decision, but I am torn. How do you decide if you want to have more kids? Am I feeling this way because I never got my boy? Will this tip me over the edge? Love you
Girl.
guys. Ooh.
Shoot, Ashley said like
Girl.
last week.
People
2 is
be
the
answering
magic
their own
number.
questions.
girl.
I'm like, she answered her own
I
question.
was thinking the same thing as I was reading. Like, so what's the question? Cuz?
yeah.
I feel like I can read between the lines on this one. It sounds like she's torn between an obligation of feeling like she is building a family with her husband and what he would like,
Mm.
and things that she once thought she wanted clearly, and now
Mhm.
that's shifted.
Yeah.
And then it's that, well, maybe this is the reason why I go back to get my son, because she said she has 2 girls, and this sounds like something that they maybe
Mhm.
wanted that experience. Ashley's face is giving, girl, don't do it. But I think my, I guess, 2 cents about this would be to have an open dialogue with your partner about what it really looks like and ask yourself if this is truly what you want. I'm a big girl, you got to carry the baby, you got to do all of that first So ask yourself if this is the time in which you want to be pregnant.
Yeah.
Are you in a space right now where you feel like you can handle that? Talk to your husband about how this additional child might affect the dynamic of your family as well as your marriage. And ask yourself what it looks like as far as the trajectory of time management and like just life goals you have for yourself as a family moving forward. I think that sometimes we can feel like there's, greater purpose. And then there's also just empowering. I'm making a decision and this is how I feel about it. So I just think communication would be the best thing, and honoring truly the season of your life that you might be in and keeping the conversation going. Like maybe next year you might feel less overwhelmed and then you might feel more prepared to have another child, and you can revisit, or you might feel like, you know what? No, like we're good. But if you're in a season of feeling overwhelmed, personally, I just feel like it's never a good decision to make these types of big, huge life decisions when you are not feeling like your best self and you're already feeling depleted, because you never want to form resentment for like such massive decisions that can feel and should feel like blessings.
Okay, let me say something on the show. Do not, and I'm going to say do not, I'm telling you what to do. Say, I want to get my son. Your son, you don't have no son, you have daughters. So there's that. I am a strong advocate of not having children for their gender. And I just feel like it's insulting. I don't care. If I make you mad, we friends, right, girl? You asked me.
She said she loves us, so
I love you too. And I'm talking to you the same way I would talk to Melanie, Felicia, or Cody, or my sisters, and they will tell you I don't talk to anybody any differently. So you're not getting special treatment, girl, because we friends. You should not have children for their gender, because that is just very wild to me, because you have no idea, like, two things. You have the children you're supposed to have. Those souls came to you for a reason. So like, let's appreciate them, right? And genders don't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't, like a boy is not going to be any more special than your daughters are. Like I have 4 kids because I wanted 4 kids. Like I wasn't trying for a son. I thought it would be cool if I had a son, but also like me and Chia consciously were like, if we have a boy, great, but we're not having children to have a boy. And even he was like, I was like, you know what? Because I knew I was never having a son. I was already told by an omen that I was never going to have boys. But even I was like, okay, Chia, I'll eat the foods that you're supposed to eat to have a son. We're going to have sex during the Chinese calendar to have a son. And I was like, we're still going to have a daughter, and you're going to be cool with that? And he was like, yes. And we did, but also because I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on whatever child is coming. And then it also makes the children that are already existing feel like, okay, you weren't complete until you had this non-existent child. Like you have I don't know. Like I just feel like having a baby for a specific gender, even though we play around, I'm like, oh, you need a daughter, because like I get it. Like if you don't have that gender, of course you are going to always have
wonder.
Yes, of course. That's a completely normal feeling. However, if your family, if you're stressed out, you're overwhelmed, and you want to add on to that just for a specific gender, that's what's wild to me.
For a potential
that
it could
happen.
happen.
Be another girl, and then
Look,
are you
the
going to be
reality
mad?
is you can't control it. So if that's the reason, technically you can control it.
I
with
mean,
a lot
unless
of
you're
money.
unless you're gonna go and spend quite a few bags to ensure
it's like
that you get your
10,000,
son,
20,000.
then that's a whole other story. But
But then also, will you be mad? Because I have seen people do like gender reveals and be pissed off that they're having another girl or another boy.
I mean, I think she kind of threw that in there, but she said a lot of other things.
She did,
too.
girl. You don't need no
And
another baby right now.
I'm not advocating for you to have another child, friend.
Me neither.
But something that Ashley said recently about 2 being the magic number, but more specifically, think about raising them. Think about your life in 10 years, not just 2 years, right? Think about your life when you have 2 in school and you still got 1 at home.
because
you know,
she has
stress.
She had 2 under 2 at a certain point, right here.
And she's
according to
already
these
stressed
ages.
out. I think that's my biggest thing. It's like if
Like,
you already stressed out, what makes you think that having a 3rd kid is gonna make you like less
Any
stressed?
less stressed.
Sometimes
It's
it
only
feels
gonna
like you just be
intensify.
stressed forever.
Yeah, and it's like
I
I
get
don't want that. Enjoy your 2.
But I want to say
perma
It's
stress.
not
something.
gonna get better. Let's make it worse.
Based on the comments,
Might as well dive
Right.
headfirst into the empty pool. Go for it.
I said something. I gave advice.
She was like, I'm so deep. I dropped a gem.
I did. No, but the comments were, when I was telling people to not
Listen to the daddies.
Yes, listen to daddies, or just like tell your kids no. And I saw people commenting like, I'm a yes mom, I'm gonna keep going with that. There's tons of them.
I saw a lot of yes moms that changed.
Well,
in the
no, some of them
comments.
were like, I'm gonna keep saying yes. Like
Oh,
there was a
shit.
decent amount of women that were like, I'm gonna keep saying yes. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I do want to say this. with the Mama's Den, like, we're not telling you what to do, but I can say, me personally, whenever I give advice, it comes from a place of love. Like, I'm definitely not one of those I struggled, so you should struggle people. So whenever I tell someone anything, it's because I'm like, I'm Jay-Z. I did it so you don't have to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see other women struggle. I don't want to see other parents make the same mistakes that I made. That's not me. I'm not like let's equally struggle. I'm like, let's no one else struggle. That's the world that I live in. I want everybody to be happy and at peace and have great experiences and better experiences than I had. So whenever I share something, trust me, it's coming from a place of love. Like, I'm not trying to tell you what to do or trying to be mean. And sometimes I could work on my delivery. That's just lifelong struggle. But I'm just saying that when I say something, trust me, when it's coming from Ashley Chia, it's always coming from a place of love. Like, listen, sis, I have 4 children. And if I'm telling you don't have 4, it's for a reason. Like, I love my kids and I can never imagine them not being here, but it is not easy. And if you want to be a good, attentive parent, reel it in.
Let's be clear. It's
Yeah.
not easy
Reel it
and
in.
it's
Reel it in.
expensive.
Oh,
It is. That's what I'm thinking.
That's
too.
the
like
reason why
college and
I'm
stuff.
totally good with 3.
Yeah.
Is mostly because I was like, that's just expensive.
Yeah.
Could my mind and heart handle another? Sure.
I don't think people think about that stuff. I really don't.
We don't. We
No,
don't.
they're not
I've
thinking
said
about
this
it.
on
I
the-
do.
I've said this on the podcast before. Jared has literally been like, all right, if we had $1 billion in the bank and this, that. And he was like, would you have another kid? Do you want to have
No.
another kid?
He
I,
said no.
I said no.
Why would that?
He
mean?
said, but why? I said,
Well-
one, I don't ever want to be pregnant again.
Oh.
That's not happening. 2, I don't want to take care of nobody else. And he's like, but we'll have endless nannies. And I was like,
What's the point of that?
I was like, I'm not having nobody else raise my kids if I'm not working and I have $1 billion in the bank. I want to be a present mom. I don't know how not to be a present mom.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like,
It's like for what?
confused.
Just to say you have 3 kids? Like, what's? I'm trying to understand.
I
What's
think
the
he
point?
just be trolling me, to be honest, because he knows that I'm traumatized. But like,
just
no,
messing with
he's
you.
not. He's totally
He
messing. He has a
messing with
vasectomy. We
you.
ain't having no kids.
I'm like, you pissing me off, Jared. It's not even me.
Felicia's triggered. but I literally tell him, like, I don't want to take care of anyone else. This is truly, I know my limits. Like, I do not want to take care of it. We have a dog. Hell, we got a fish that needs distilled water for the tank. I got to think about that too.
My friend, he said,
I
no
do-
more capacity boundaries.
I know where I'm at,
Go the
and
other
that's
way.
what you have to recognize. You gotta know where your capacity boundary is at.
For real.
That's it. I don't want to take care of nobody else. I want to take care of myself.
Wait, so if you have a listener question for us, hit us up at podcasts
With an S.
at blacklove.com. And yeah, we'll catch you on the audio or the video, all right?